Automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. It's a play-in situation, really, for the Hawkeyes.
Jim, this is a perfect example why you have to say the NCAA tournament has already started. Because you do have a way to earn your way into it.
Sonderleiter gets Iowa on the board to begin.
Two teams have played twice already this year. And it seems like deja vu. We saw these teams in the Big Ten. Obviously, title game last year.
Coverdale off on the three. And the rebound by Pierce.
Good hit ahead.
Leslie drives. First four and going to the line. First four for Iowa.
Not meaning to, Evans was able to set a perfect screen running down the floor where he has the right to do on this play and blocked out any chance whatsoever for Hornsby to cut off the angle early enough. You can see that Evans had the perfect block-out situation there. And instead of allowing Hornsby to come over and get in the way and plant his feet, he had to take a different angle.
So Chauncey Leslie, the junior, Rochester, New York, makes it 5-0 Hawkeye. Iowa 18-14 on the year. Big disappointment in the regular season, but they've won 6 straight in the Big Ten tournament dating back to last year's magical run to the championship.
First team to go all the way through, having to play 4 games to win a national championship, to win a Big Ten championship. Illinois made that run of 4 games, but not able to pull it off against Michigan State.
Over the top to Odell. The assist to Fife.
Sonderleiter not able to go ahead and get enough body on Odell on that pass. Good separation by Odell.
Reggie Evans.
Beautiful spin.
Tipped up once. Sonderleiter keeps it alive. Whoa, where's that going? Coverdale chasing it down.
Bad fundamentals there. All Sonderleiter had to do, Jim, was to sit down with the ball, pivot on out. You'll see that pass perfectly thrown, and a great job by Odell not to push off whatsoever.
Steve Alford's 3rd year at Iowa. Took him to the 2nd round of the NCAAs last year.
Good hit.
Hornsby, 3, ties it at 5.
Indiana does this as well as anybody in the country, and that is that extra pass to open up the jump shot to let the shooter be perfectly set for it and have everybody in a position to rebound.
Sonderleiter in the lane. 2 bodies collide, and coming out with it, Fife. Indiana 20-10 on the year. Again, one of 4 teams to share the league championship. They drew the number 4 seed for this tournament.
Jim, of course, when Iowa came to Indiana, it was not here. It was in Bloomington, and Indiana just took care of them in that game, particularly what they did to Luke Recker, who only scored 8 points and had an evening that he just as soon forget.
7 on the shot clock. Recker just incredible here in the 2 games at Indianapolis in the tournament. Hornsby on the line. Iowa ball.
Nice ball fake by Jeffries. The only problem was nobody came to it.
Recker scoring 16 of Iowa's last 19 as the Hawkeyes took out the number 1 seed Wisconsin yesterday in the quarterfinals.
So the last thing you want to be if you're a Big Ten team is the number 1 seed in their tournament. That's
really
4 times the number 1 guy has gone home in day 1.
Hornsby shadowing Recker everywhere he goes.
You can see Sonderleiter stepping out, leaving Evans inside with Odell. Tough shot.
Evans, though, for the rebound. Sonderleiter.
Much better job on his part that time. Settled down on his feet instead of throwing the ball wild. With Sonderleiter and Evans in there, you've got a very strong twosome for offensive rebounds.
Evans between 2 defenders, no whistle, and again they reach in and take it away. Fight.
Collapsing by the guards by Indiana, doing a good job.
Fife had 5 steals yesterday in a win over Michigan State. Evans hacks Jeffries.
And here's where Evans is really going to be upset. He did commit a foul there, but he says, hey, how about down the other end?
A couple of times.
I was getting mugged. What do they get? 3 to my 1?
And there's Mike Davis. in his second season at Indiana. Another 20-win season. First Indiana coach to ever have back-to-back 20-win campaigns the first 2 years.
Jeffries in the game this year at Iowa. Had a huge game, 26 points, 7 rebounds. Really established himself as the Big Ten Player of the Year, and despite the ankle injury, which cut his production down to about 8 points a game the last 5 regular season games, is a very deserving honor.
7 unanswered by Indiana.
Haven't seen Recker even get 3 for a shot yet, Jim.
Hornsby doing a good job now. Gets the screen, got the shot, and Odell clears for the Hoosiers.
What Recker's having to do here is to be a little bit more patient than that. That's the first time he really had a chance to touch the ball. Not the best of shot selection.
Coverdale drives in and over Evans.
I think Evans was expecting Coverdale to pass. Coverdale's got good strength in his upper body. Former Mr. Basketball here in the state. It seems like we've got a number of them on this floor. Recker, Coverdale, Alford. You start going down the line.
Go to the bench. Davis was down in Alabama, by the way. And count the basket. Reggie Evans going to the line. Odell with the foul. We welcome you to the Big Ten tournament, the semifinal action between Iowa and Indiana underway. This semi, a rematch of last year's Big Ten championship game. Jim Nance, Billy Packer courtside here in Indianapolis. Iowa in the gold at the line had opened with the game's first 5 points. Then Indiana went on a 9-point run. Evans just answered at the other end with a basket and chance for a 3-point play. This championship weekend here in Indianapolis, after the tournament had resided in Chicago since '98. Been a special scene here for the first 2 days. Fife too strong on the 3. Jeffries finds it in the corner. Odell on the block.
Should have looked opposite. He had Coverdale wide open opposite on that 45-degree pass and didn't throw it.
Championship weekend presented by Burger King, the Big Ten basketball tournament. Iowa and Indiana, again, a rematch of last year's thrilling final. We'll be back in just a moment.
Come on, man. 23 triple-doubles last season. Well, he's a monster in the block. He can hit the 3. I mean, he's money come playoff time.
But he can't shoot a free throw. My grandmother could shoot a free throw better than him.
Well, I haven't seen your grandmother play, but I'm sure she's awesome. His critics call him cold, but I find this warm. I find it engaging.
I see that. It's more like a wheel of octopi.
Very unilateral. The play of dark and light is a classic, Dude, octopi?
Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders now, you know they don't upset us.
I gotta get a Whopper.
You got it.
A better way to soothe your skin after shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has advanced moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and improve your skin. Nivea for Men, for evolved skincare.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? For more cargo room, more people room, or more headroom. Enterprise. So easy it's like having a second car. Or third.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Burger King. Proud sponsor of Championship Weekend on CBS. At BK, you got it.
What a spectacular facility here. Conseco Fieldhouse hosting the Big Ten tournament. Indiana and Iowa early action, and this is how they began the game as far as lineups, Billy, but we've got subs already on the floor. Boyd and Worley in for Iowa.
Well, it's not unusual for Steve Alford to go early to that bench. Sunderlider only averages 9.6 minutes per game, and Leslie only 18.9, so is not really who starts in the game for Iowa, but who Steve has on the floor at the end.
Boyd gave it up to Worley.
Now with Boyd in the game, it should extend this Indiana defense out a little bit, allowing Evans, who's really being battled by Odell inside, to get free. There he is.
Evans backing in on Odell. And it's going against Odell.
Now, Evans is getting a lot of contact here, Jim, and I think that if you're smart at Iowa, you get the ball into him and force these referees to start calling it a lot tighter down inside. Evans is a guy that can handle a lot of physical battling, and the more you get it down there, eventually the officials will start balancing things out. And that's already 2 on Odell, and they haven't been calling it close on that end of the floor.
Evans was the Big Ten tournament MVP last year. He averages about 9 free throw attempts a game.
And last year, he led the nation in free throw attempts. Actually, he led the nation in the league in 4 categories. Double-doubles, rebounding, free throw attempts, and free throws made in the course of the year. And that just goes to show you what an important weapon he is, because not only is he getting to the line, Jim, although he's not a great free throw shooter, it's putting his opponent in a terrible position with fouls. And right now, Odell is an extremely important player for IU, and he's out of the game already. He has 2 fouls on him, and we're very early into this first half.
Jeff Newton replaced him, number 50. Pass too far for Jeffries. Turnover, Indiana.
There's where Jeffries has to be ready to release from his defensive player, anticipating the lob. Wasn't that bad a pass.
Worley drives past Newton, side of the backboard. Newton clears.
Boyd's foot was on the line.
Back to Indiana.
Jim, we've got to start saying something about Recker. I mean, we're into this ball game now, almost 7 minutes. Recker's taken 1 shot.
This is after 28 points in the win over Wisconsin, the number 1 seed yesterday.
Well, he only had 4 in the first half, but a guy that's on a roll like this, you want him to touch that ball.
Hornsby scores for Indiana. 11-8 Hoosiers. They're down 5-0 early.
Hornsby, in the 2 games they've played this year, is 8 for 10 from 3. So he has really been a factor against Iowa.
Recker struggled in the 2 games, Billy, against Indiana during the regular season. Hit only 8 of 23 from the field. Again, Evans draws. No, they say he was tied up. And the arrow belongs to Indiana.
That'll still pay off, even though he was tied up. Cincinnati.
Yeah, you got to think maybe number 1 seed now, unless one scenario.
Well,
out of the Big 12, maybe. Huh?
My theory,
Oklahoma.
Right, my theory, Jim, was that Cincinnati on their home court would probably have the best chance to win their title, and I thought Oklahoma having to play in Kansas City against potentially Kansas or other tough opponents to get there probably wouldn't have as good a chance to win the Big 12 as Cincinnati would Conference USA. So halfway, we're there in theory.
Been one of the real open questions going into selection weekend, that 4th number 1 seed. And Cincinnati made its case today, winning the Conference USA Championship. Jeffries had to put that up to 2 on the shot clock.
Bad execution of half-court offense by Indiana.
Boyd takes the 3 at the other end and drains it to tie it at 11.
Now there's bad execution on the defensive end of the floor as well. Boyd has the ability to shoot the 3 as well as anybody on this Iowa team. He was able to come right down, set up, nobody guarding him from half-court on. Both teams playing straight man-to-man. It is their style.
Hornsby, quick release here. Rebound out to Leslie, who started this game, Chauncey Leslie.
And there's Hornsby not giving Boyd that opportunity to get off anything now. 3 good defensive guards out here for Indiana. Here's a hold on the inside after all the banging.
Called on Jeffries. Here are the Big Ten brackets. Indiana advancing with a win against Michigan State. Iowa takes out the #1 seed. Down at the bottom, we're going to see Ohio State and Illinois. Later this afternoon on CBS, Ohio State over Michigan. Illinois beat Minnesota. Once again, not as exciting a game as we saw last week up at Williams Arena in Minneapolis when it came down to the last second. Illinois really impressive last night here, advancing to the semis.
They seem to be getting stronger and stronger. Jim, let's face it, that was the team that was picked to win the Big Ten championship before it all started. And it looks like they're on all cylinders right now.
They were preseason #2 in the nation.
Absolutely.
Which was the highest preseason ranking in the history of the program.
And how about Ohio State? They came into the Big Ten tournament ranked as high as a 1 and 2 and always out that first day, so I'm sure Jim O'Brien's happy to see advancing.
Duaz Henderson into the game, misses the shot from the inside. Boyd takes it away, jumper from the corner. That's 2 in a row, just like that for Boyd.
Now, he had plenty of time in that first three. Didn't have any time on that one and wasn't even squared up. Beautiful release on his part.
Donald Perry handling the ball now, seeing first action for Indiana.
Boyd 2 times was the leading scorer in the state of Indiana. He didn't get much of a look by IU to come there on a scholarship, and I'm sure he'd like to pay him off here in Indianapolis.
A.J. Moye has also come in for Indiana. Watch this loose ball. Quick hands right here by Boyd. Knocks it down from the corner. Hawkeyes on a 9-2 run to take the lead back.
Introducing the redesigned 2002 M-Class.
Think of e-business as a game. You got players, you got management. You got opponents who don't always play by the rules. This game takes strategy and the ability to move that metaphorical ball that is information with more money on the line than in any other game that's ever been played. E-business isn't just a game, it's the game. So if you're going to play, play to win.
What a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole...
Introducing Cool Contact Towels from Old Spice. Cool down anytime, anywhere.
I swear I was so in love.
New Cool Contact. Splash one on.
Thanks for the lift.
You jumped out?
I jumped out of the moving truck. At that point, it was like my decision was made. I'm out of here.
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Meet Tara and Will from the new Amazing Race.
We fight, and it's over. Drop it.
Stop it, Will. No, it's not over.
The Amazing Race premieres CBS Monday.
Earlier this week, the Big Ten honors distributed. Jeffries of Indiana, Player of the Year. Bo Ryan, Wisconsin, Coach of the Year. Rick Rickert, Minnesota's first ever Freshman of the Year in the league. And co-defensive Players of the Year, Fife and Bennett.
Can't argue with any of those, can you, Jim?
We had last year's Big Ten Player of the Year in the second game, Frank Williams of Illinois,
who made first team All Big Ten.
The 2 games this year, Indiana wins by 11 against Iowa and by 28. And Iowa in the lead here at the start. Rebound, Worley.
One of the things that Indiana is not doing early in this game, Jim, is they're not getting the ball inside and then kicking out to get those threes. And now Boyd's third.
3 for 3.
Well, we have 3 guys down on the floor under the basket, so Boyd really did have an open look.
Jared Reiner has come into the game, number 5, and took a little shot to the face there, but he's back in his defensive position.
The brown belt in Taekwondo, but it looked like he took one to the jaw.
Boye in and out.
Again, see, they're taking shots to the outside without going in at all.
Jeffries misses the chippy. And a foul. Looked like he was pointing at Moye, but it's going to be on Iowa.
There's that lob pass on the inside. We see the collision. Reiner goes down, luckily gets that ball back out, and who is it but Boyd for his third 3 of the game.
Boyd has really turned this around.
Against Wisconsin, he was just 1 for 6. He did make two threes against Purdue in the opening round of this Big Ten tournament, but without question, you know how well he can shoot. And Reiner did, Jim, take a shot in the mouth, and I imagine there's some blood there that the referees are going to make him sit.
He's taken out. Evans returns to the lineup. That foul was called on Worley, and the Boyd 3 threes fueling this 12-2 run.
Well, Jim, we remember last year the tension involved in that Big Ten game. It's great to see that Mike Davis eventually was named the permanent head coach, and I can remember that game right coming down the wire. So much speculation about Steve Alford and Mike Davis. And Steve Alford pulling off a miraculous 4-game run there to win the Big Ten championship for Iowa.
Running that tournament win streak to 6 in a row here this week. Wins over.
No numbers, no place to go. Oh, a big break for Iowa.
Called on Fife.
Bad move by Leslie. He was outnumbered and still just put his head down, tried to go through the traffic.
Think about that, though, for Iowa, going back to last year. 6 straight wins in this tournament. Here's the foul right there on Fife. Did you see it?
Well, there was contact there, Jim. But I had no idea where he thought he was going to go. Boy, Boyd is looking for the shot. Are you kidding me?
Yep. Got to release it. He
actually made 2 decisions to shoot that time and let it fly on the second one.
Nice drive to the basket by Donald Perry.
It looks like Mike Davis is looking to try to solidify something offensively for his club. He's got 2 of his starting guards sitting down right now. Coverdale and Hornston. Good idea. Good idea.
Jeffries unable to convert inside. That Perry drive to the basket ended 6 misses in a row. That streak coming to an end with the Perry basket. Inside to Jeffries.
You know, I'm really surprised that they're playing Jeffries on Evans as a push-off.
Duez Henderson called for it. You look at this Iowa team, Billy, 5-11 in the Big Ten regular season. Does that surprise you? 5-11?
Well, it did. I felt with 2 of the premier players in the league coming back that you had to put Iowa with their experience. Now, they lost Dean Oliver. And one of the things that's amazing on the college level, that when you lose that experienced point guard, particularly one that is so critical to your offensive half-court sets, and don't have anybody to replace him, everything breaks down.
Moye with a 3.
First time Indiana has gone inside and then kicked back outside.
Brings the Hoosiers within 1. It really has been a point guard dilemma this year for Iowa.
Now here's Recker back in the game. Only had 4 in the first half yesterday. Ended up with 28. He's 0 for 1 so far today. Bad shot by Boyd. He's got to get a better squared-up look.
Boyd was drifting to his left on that long 3. Coverdale kicks it back out. Moye drives in, lost the handle.
There's only one player, or one person, actually, in this arena today that can make that shot drifting to his left, and he's sitting immediately beside me. Jim Nance. The only way he can shoot a basketball is drift to the left.
I hit a few of those back in my days at Marlboro High School in Colts Neck, New Jersey.
Well, I don't want
very few of them, I might add. If anybody looked up our record, they would know. My record, too. I think I was about 20%.
Oh,
Coverdale tried to wrap it around there to Newton.
Boy, that was a beautiful pass. I don't know why Newton felt it was a hot potato. He just didn't put his hands out to catch it. Coverdale a little upset with it.
So Recker's taken 1 field goal attempt, 0 for 1 from the field. How did they get him going here?
Isn't it interesting, the IU fans booing Recker as they did at Bloomington? Nice rub off. This is what they ought to live on. Get the ball to Evans and be patient inside.
Coverdale driving. And it's going to be a block call, I believe, on Ryan Hogan.
Isn't it amazing? You've got Hogan starting out at Kentucky, where he had some degree of success. Now he is at Iowa, and Recker, who started out at Indiana, having some success at Iowa as well.
Monday, an all-new late show with David Letterman. Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond, plus Jason Kidd on an all-new Dave Monday on CBS. One more for Coverdale. Yeah, that is interesting to think. You're talking about two transfers from marquee big-time programs, and Hogan, of course, was on a team that won a championship at Kentucky down in San Antonio. George Leach coming in for the Hoosiers out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and a high school teammate with Chris Marcus of Western Kentucky fame.
And that's a reach to say a teammate, because Marcus was not a factor in the high school level whatsoever, but now the premier center in all of college basketball. Western Kentucky working their way by winning their conference championship, and would have probably got an at-large bid anyway.
Henderson gets it back. Moye pushed him. They're going to call him for it. I'm going to be really interested in seeing where the Hilltoppers get seated by the committee. Their record so impressive all season long. A win at Rupp Arena early in the year against Kentucky, and then went 15-2 when Marcus was out with an injury. And we saw them last year in the tournament.
And
very dangerous.
And loved them.
Much deeper than just Marcus.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Billy? Where do you
had him in Florida. I'll tell you what, particularly what they did without him, that's almost as impressive as what they're going to have with him. What do you say, a 4?
I think they should. They merit a 4, but I see some people speculating like an 8-9 game. I think,
whoa, that's going to be
against Recker.
And Coverdale got into Recker's head. And Lucas got to, with his experience, be smarter than that. What Coverdale's doing is giving him a lot of body, and then he does a flop on him. Now, when you're an experienced player like Recker,
they got him in the face first.
There's no question. There was a foul there, but that doesn't give you any reason to go throw your elbow. What you have to do is just be cool. It'll balance out. You can't let a guy get into your head, particularly at this point where Recker does not yet have a field goal.
Newton, he'll take it from the side.
Not where you'd want to have him shooting that ball. And there is over the back. Ryan Hogan. Moy is really fired up in his ball game right now.
So is Steve Alford on those last two calls. That's the 7th team foul.
Now,
Hogan second.
Steve looked like a choir boy when he played, and still basically does. But believe me, this guy was a tremendous competitor. Probably moved, for a scorer that he was, moved as well without the ball in the offense that Bob Knight had as any player we've ever seen in college basketball.
Moye hits the front end of a 1-and-1.
And when you're moving without the ball, that means you're getting hit a lot, coming off of screens. And he always had that cool composure. And how about one stat, Jim? You'd never think about this. The greatest shooter that's probably ever been at Indiana is the leading guy of steals career-wise in Indiana.
Fife is trying to run him down. He's only 4 steals in the career list behind him. We'll be right back.
Oh, hey, Carl. Blockbuster's giving out rewards.
Ray, people only reward animals that do tricks. Please.
Well, it's been a few years. I get my reward now?
Oh, gee. You're dangerously close, Ray.
What about now, Carl?
With Blockbuster Rewards, you get free rentals. And the more movies and games you rent, the more you get free. And now you even get free DVDs. So join Blockbuster Rewards today.
Oh, what about now?
Make it a Blockbuster night.
They're the ones who say, you're always right. They say they're not happy until you are. Because small business is about a higher level of customer service, we created a higher level for them. Open, the Small Business Network. New tools, services, and savings for a small business economy. From American Express.
If you could peer into the soul of the newest Mazda, what would you see? The new 200-horsepower Mazda MPV. Body of a minivan. Soul of a sports car.
This is crabgrass. I don't want to see crabgrass in my lawn. We put down Scott's turf filter with Halts in the early spring.
That's the only thing I ever use. Scott puts this protective barrier over the lawn.
And it stops the crabgrass from germinating. Turf filter with Halts. The best defense against crabgrass.
You wanted to see me?
Did you cook my steak?
Yeah.
You are
Awesome!
For a great steak,
Would you sign my belly?
head to Applebee's Steak Stampede. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Indiana leading 20-17. Jim Nance, Billy Packer back here in Indianapolis. And for Iowa, this is really like an NCAA tournament game, Billy. They need to win today and tomorrow to get the automatic from the conference. They're not going to be an at-large team, so it really has a tournament feel here for sure, NCAA tournament feel.
Well, it does, Jim, and I think that's one of the things that's misrepresented. I think these conference tournaments really are the beginning of the NCAA tournament. And let's take a look at some of the teams that had an opportunity to work their way there as opposed to waiting around Sunday night to find out if they get voted in. This state probably is representative of that more than any with this Butler,
city. Yep.
Butler, Ball State.
Yep.
How about Notre Dame?
I think Notre Dame's in.
Well, you've got 3 teams, though, are going to have to wait to see as opposed to marching through their conference postseason tournament with a victory that nobody has to vote you in. You earn your way there.
Can you imagine Ball State opening the year with such promise? Wins against UCLA and Kansas, and now they've got to wait and see. And in fact, I think they're going to have a hard time making it, Billy. Their RPI is in the 70s. They have 11 losses on the season.
Well, Indiana in this arena is in this town 1-1 on the year, and one of those went to Butler.
That's right.
And so Butler at a high point in their season, beating Indiana, a team that eventually ties for the Big Ten championship and is assured to going to the big dance. And here you have Butler going to have to wait around till Sunday night.
Butler won a game last year in the tournament.
Did they?
Big time.
They
over your team.
A school called Wake Forest, which
never
even could get out of the first half. A tremendous performance by Butler.
And 2 years ago, they took Florida down to the final seconds with Mike Miller beating them on a buzzer beater in the first round. We saw that, and there are a couple of players still from that team, Ryan Hangey and others. 7 seconds here on the shot clock. I hope they get in. I think they will be. Recker, three-pointer, and he's on the board.
Boy, I don't know what Coverdale was thinking right there. He has Recker with the ball. He's got the shot clock as his helping defensive teammate. He should have got right in Recker's face and made him put the ball on the floor.
Jeffries lobs it, Leach, unable to finish. Sunderliner with the rebound.
Nice job by Sunderliner. Leach and Newton don't have the greatest of hands on the offensive end of the floor. And you know Evans is not taking that jump shot out there, but he wants to be where he is now, 3 feet away from the basket.
And it's going the other way. North Carolina State feisty with Maryland in the early action, first half.
And there's a team that has not been in the NCAA tournament during Coach Sendek's career up there, and it looks like this year, without question, they'll be in and have really bounced back nicely this year. Again, not much inside and then outside. There's a little penetration and kick out. That's Indiana's game this year.
Dane 5-foot with a three-pointer.
They surround the perimeter with their really good outside shooting, but they have not early in this game gone inside and kicked out. Good move by Recker.
Recker spins. Coverdale tying him up, and they'll say we go to the arrow. That belongs to Indiana. Click on conference championship pages for updated brackets, stats, and analysis only at CBS.sportsline.com or on America Online. Enter the keyword CBS Sportsline.
Nice piece of coaching by Steve Alford there. He was going to take Recker out anyway, and when Recker came over to him, he said, just calm down. What he's trying to do is to get Recker's head into this game where it's not like a personal challenge for him to play well against IU. That's a smart move by Steve Alford.
Jared Jeffries, Sunderliner got a piece of the hand.
There's where Jeffries, you can see that ankle injury slowed him down, as I mentioned, for those 5 games to end the regular season where he only averaged 8 a game, but he can explode to the basket.
Not only the conference player of the year, of course, heading the way on that all Big Ten team. We mentioned Frank Williams. Brian Brown, we'll see him, Ohio State in the next game. Kirk Penny from Wisconsin.
Well, and we saw there Marcus Taylor, who finished up the season a blaze of glory and moved into potentially being the second guy in Big Ten history. Andre Woolridge, who played for Iowa, is the only other guy that Marcus has a chance to catch that led the league in scoring and assists in the same year. Be quite an honor.
That is a wonderful accomplishment.
in a league of this caliber.
Pierce floats.
He struck the right. Nice.
Rejected by Newton. No foul called. Ball tipped around. Fife snares it.
Well, I would say that down on that end of the floor, Jim, it has been brutal.
Moye. Fife. Back to Moye. Giving them a lift for the second straight day off the bench.
His competitive juices in this game have really put Indiana in good stead. Evans doesn't want the ball that far away from the basket. Hey, Mike Davis has really done some job with this Indiana team. We had him early in the year against Kentucky, where defensively they just weren't quick enough to play against Kentucky's perimeter team. But with drilling defensively, these guys really get after you now.
Jeffrey's second.
Of course, that doesn't surprise me because Mike was one of the top defenders that ever played in the SEC.
Mike Davis, yeah.
Mike Davis played under C.M. Newton for a year.
Recruited out of Fayette, Alabama by C.M. Newton, Hall of Famer. And Wimp Sanderson, his last 3 years, averaged 10 a game at Alabama, did Mike Davis. Reggie Evans, you talked earlier about how last year he led the nation in free throw attempts. This year, third in the country free throw attempts, fourth in the nation in rebounding, eighth in the nation in double-doubles, 12th in free throws made. He's a bruiser on the inside, and late in the season, he missed out on a couple of starts and a lot of minutes with a thigh bruise, but back healthy here for the Big Ten tournament.
22 double-doubles last year, Jim. Wow. That's an active inside player and basically does all his work from about 5 feet from the basket on in.
He had a career high tying 18 rebounds in the Thursday win against Purdue, first round action of this tournament.
And appreciated his coach sitting him down in the one game this year where he had not gotten to class and said, you know, you don't want to go to class, you don't play in a game. So he missed the game against Ohio State.
Newton, jumper, in and out, and Evans clears. 4 minutes to go in the half. Indiana 26-22.
And Evans started off this Big Ten tournament against Purdue with 19 points and 18 rebounds, which tied his Big Ten tournament record. In this modern day of basketball, when on the college level, when a guy pulls down 18 rebounds, I mean, he is really working.
To commit. Oh, he's got it this time, and he's going to the line.
You notice he gave up a shot, Jim, from about 8 feet to get one from 3, and that is really his game. And eventually it pays off. He's kind of like a guy that throws a lot of body punches in boxing. Eventually he wears you down and just keeps right on coming. You can remember the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. It was that same kind of activity. Nothing was called. But now he's still going at it.
Foul called on Newton, his first. And Reggie Evans with 8.
And 2 years in a row, Evans has been second team all Big Ten.
Indiana by 1. Under 4 minutes to play first half.
We're bringing this brand new car around today. It's called the Pontiac Vibe. It sounds like a party wagon. How you guys like it?
I love it.
Yeah? It's pretty fat, yeah? It's a fantastic car.
I'm a vibe girl. Yeah.
Big, oh, sweet. Look at that. AC connection? Yeah. Awesome.
I could see it zipping around town.
This is the road trip mobile.
Look at this.
I like that. Sounds sharp.
I like the silver.
Control, circles.
It's built real tight, you know?
This is my kind of ride. Meet the new Pontiac Vibe, official vehicle for the NCAA championships.
For men, every morning it's the same routine. The desperate search for a way to relieve the pain after shaving. Finally, there's a better way to soothe your skin. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm is an advanced blend of moisturizers and vitamins that soothe and actually improve your skin. Nivea for Men, for evolved skincare.
What is wrong with you? All around provides hospitals and doctors with the tools they need to make the right decisions right away. From diagnostics to patient information to care management, we're doing our part to help people everywhere feel better.
Jim, here's a case where Coverdale has to remember, defense includes the clock. There was only 6 seconds to go here. The ball is going to be passed to Recker. Now's the time to get on him because that clock is going to be your teammate. Instead, Coverdale stays off. Recker realized he's got to shoot the ball. The only thing he could do was take a long three-point shot, his only basket of the game. Coverdale should have made him put that ball on the floor and allowed that shot clock to be one of his teammates.
Recker returns to the floor. Reiner, remember that shot he took to the mouth? It's required 5 stitches.
Well, there was a lot of action down under that basket early in the game. It's starting to clean up a little bit since.
Still pretty feisty in there. Hornsby rolls out. Sonderleiter takes a shot to the face.
And there was Hornsby, got somewhat hit on the elbow on that jump shot. It's amazing the shot got as close as it did. But Indiana does not shoot anywhere near as well from the outside, trying to get shots off the dribble as they do when they kick the ball inside and then come back out.
Coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you caught up on all of today's college basketball scores and highlights. And Bonnie Bernstein is at the NCAA Hall of Champions crosstown here in Indianapolis for all the latest NCAA tournament selection news. That's coming up on Singular at the half. Sonderleiter missing the front end of a 1-and-1 after the Leach foul. Odell back on the floor for Indiana.
2 fouls on Odell. I'm surprised he's back in there. 3:22 to go. You don't want him to pick up that third here in the first half. It's going to be very important in the second half defensively on Evans. Solid screen on Recker.
Kansas throttling Texas Tech 27-13 in the Big 12 tournament. Coverdale with the 3. Beautiful.
Good solid screens out front that time by Indiana. Recker was really getting bumped. Nice crossover dribble.
Boyd rejected by Newton. Sonderleiter puts it back.
Newton, the number 2 shot blocker in the Big Ten. And Boyd has to understand that when he's going to make that move that far from the basket.
Coverdale to Odell.
Beautiful. That was really a good pick and roll. Odell had the shot and tried to overpass.
Leslie fouled on the shot, and it could be Odell.
I'm really surprised if it is, Jim, that he was on the floor.
It is on Odell, his third.
Yeah.
Preseason favorites. Illinois, Iowa was ranked 2nd out of the Big Ten media coming into the year.
Here's 2 that slipped in, didn't they?
No one saw it coming.
Absolutely not.
So Odell picks up that third, and Moyer takes his spot on the lineup. That was the 10th team foul. 2 shots the rest of the half. Hawkeyes can tie it right here as Chauncey Leslie has one more.
If you're Mike Davis, you have to take a look at your staff and say, what in the world are we doing bringing Odell back in the game to, in effect, play with less than 3 minutes to go and 2 fouls on him? Very dangerous move. Now, Moy's being guarded by Evans. He can take him if he gets the ball out on the perimeter. They got a small team, actually 4 guards on the floor right now for Indiana.
Only Newton with size.
There's Moy and goes by Evans.
Moyer gets the roll.
Excellent job to recognize the matchup that they had available. How can that be offset by Iowa? They've got a 6'1" guy guarding a 6'11" man. Moyer on Sonderleiter. They've got to go inside. There it is.
Recker sees it. Sonderleiter passes in charge.
Not patient. Moyer doing a tremendous job in there, holding his ground, giving up about 6 or 7 inches. Steve Alford saw what was available immediately. Now here's where Sonderleiter, all he has to do is just be patient in there, Jim, and he's got an easy shot. Now Steve Alford's going to go ahead and try to match up with Indiana. So Mike Davis wins. I'd go back to Moye again and make Evans have to guard him.
Moye leads the Hoosiers in scoring with 9, and Boyd leads Iowa with 9, both non-starters. Pierce comes back for Iowa. Sonderleiter out, so they go smaller.
Yeah, they went. It was a good job by Mike Davis to force Steve Alford to match up with him. I think the toughness factor of the Indiana guards enables them sometimes to play small, Jim. The guys actually don't mind going chest to chest with a bigger man.
7 on the shot clock. Fight. Hornsby flying in for the rebound. Coverdale gave it up last second. Fight. And Evans clears. Reach in. Ball on Indiana.
Boy, with this lead, I don't know why Indiana would have taken a quick shot. The clock again was their teammate there to bring the ball back out, get it set up. They've got experienced guards on the floor. What you want to do is protect your halftime lead.
Hornsby's second, again, double bonus. 2 shots coming for Evans.
And Jim, what happens here is that Iowa has a chance to 2 possessions, one with the foul shot, and again, Indiana will have to give up the ball at least one time coming down the floor. So you have a chance to go in with a 4-point lead. Instead, you have a chance to go in behind. Not a good decision by the IU guards.
Perry in for Indiana.
Evans is a 62% free throw shooter.
4 out of 7 in this one.
He'll go to the line 300 times this year. Could you imagine if he could shoot free throws like his coach used to shoot them?
Ooh.
At a 90% shooter?
Knock this one down. It'll be a percentage point above his season average. 5 for 8.
6 seconds differential on the clock. Means that IU has to give up the ball. And this is what they should have done on the last possession. That's just mentally giving up a point, Jim, and in a big, tight, close game, that can be a major factor.
6 on the shot clock. Fife takes the jumper. Rattles out. Moye! Can you imagine that? With 1 second, Coverdale can get a shot off. No team led by more than 6 in a high-intensity first half. Moye with some effort to close out the scoring here in the first 20. He has 11 to lead the way. So the Big Ten tournament semifinal has reached halftime. Indiana leads it by 3. Greg and Clark coming up from New York when we continue on the road to the Final Four.
What would you do with the Pontiac Grand Am?
We'd probably put a little pep in our step, ladies. What's something we've never done before? Let's go go-karting and bump each other. How's mad driving? Look, Wisconsin! You guys want to punch? It'll be a blast. Down to the middle, baby. What? Car just fly.
What would you do with the Pontiac Grand Am?
Love you.
Tell us at Pontiac.com.
The one criminal to elude DC's top cop has his daughter.
Beth?
Now a twisted game begins.
Is she alive or dead?
All New District, CBS tonight.
Baby Bob. Do you prefer Dada? Dad seems more natural to me.
Monday, March 18th.
Your mama always told you to eat your spinach, but it's your papa who will finally get you to love it. Introducing Papa John's Spinach Alfredo Pizza, made with a creamy garlic Parmesan sauce. Proof that better ingredients make a better pizza. Speaking of better pizzas, it's the new 6-cheese pizza, made with the finest cheeses, including Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. 2 new specialties from the folks who make a special pizza.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Try a Spinach Alfredo, 6-cheese, or any large specialty pizza today for $10.99.
If you could build your own retirement community, what would you include?
A workshop.
Underbuilding parking.
A hot tub.
You can enjoy all this and more at the Reserve on Walnut Creek. We're building soon just north of Hickman on 82nd Place in Urbandale. Call now to customize one of 9 floor plans. Choose your colors, design rooms. The Reserve on Walnut Creek, sponsored by Methodist and Lutheran Iowa Health Systems affiliates. Call 727-5927.
It's shoot for the savings at Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet. Now during March Madness, buy any new or pre-owned vehicle, then shoot free throws to save up to an additional $500 off our already low prices. Also, register to win one of 2 lifetime basketball setups. So come to where there's no quibbling, really no dribbling. Leave it to Bill to show you how to make a deal and how to make a basket. March Madness at Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet, 17th and 19th in Ingersoll.
This is Live Super Doppler Radar from KCCI Des Moines.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, the wireless company that supports self-expression nationwide.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our New York studios and to Singular at the Half. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with my partner Clark Kellogg, and our score at halftime in Indianapolis, Indiana leads it by a score of 33-30, and in this game, Iowa knows what they have to do. The question is, can they get it done?
I don't know if they can. Jared Jeffries only has a couple of points in the first half. A.J. Moye has come off the bench to give Indiana a huge lift. You've got to think that Jeffries is going to get it going, and with that home crowd advantage, you've got to give the edge to Indiana.
And remember, the winner of this game plays the winner of Illinois, Ohio State. Elsewhere on the championship weekend scoreboard, Conference USA title went to the Cincinnati Bearcats, 77-63 over the Golden Eagles of Marquette. Cordell Henry dishes Dwayne Wade, one-handed jam. Bearcats lead is 4.
Then they went on a 10-zip run. 3 of those 10 points coming from the hands of sweet-shooting Steve Logan.
And then Logan will miss here. Jason Maxiel in position for the putback. The Bearcats win it after the game. Our Dan Bonner with Cincinnati coach Bob Huggins.
Bob, congratulations. You must feel very proud of this team. It was a team that nobody expected anything from. How does this feel?
They've worked so hard. I mean, I told them yesterday before the game that, I mean, they deserve everything they get. I don't know that we've had some great teams with great work ethic. I don't know that we've had any better than this.
Cincinnati, its first ever 30-victory season, 30-3 on the year with the Conference USA title. ACC semifinals, North Carolina State leading Maryland at halftime, 40-38. NC State's Marcus Melvin winds up, lands the 3, 7-point lead for the Wolfpack.
But then Juan Dixon, he's the one who makes the Terrapins go. Nice steal. And a bucket brings Maryland to within 1.
Maryland hasn't won the ACC tournament since 1984. They trail at halftime 40-38. Big 12 semifinals in Kansas City. The Jayhawks trouncing Texas Tech 40-15.
Player of the Year candidate Drew Gooden. In my mind, he is the Player of the Year from Boise. After Texas Tech had scored, Kansas does that better than anybody. And in the half court, the same 2 players, Jeff Boise, Drew Gooden, for the alley-oop.
Bob Knight not happy. No wonder. Kansas opened 10 out of 12 from the floor. They lead at 40-15 as they approach halftime. SEC semifinals in Atlanta. Mississippi State trailed early, now leading by 3. Antonio Hudson of LSU hits the offensive boards, gets the putback, and their deficit is 1.
They would push that lead, Mississippi State would, to 7 as Michael Goller on the penetration from Zimmerman lines up a 3 and knocks it down.
State has won 6 in a row, and they're leading here 44-43, 8.5 to play in regulation. America East Championship game goes to Boston University, 66-40 over the Black Bears of Maine. Big Sky Championship game, Eastern Washington looking for its first ever tournament berth, trails Montana 30-27, 5 and change to play in the first half. Southland Championship goes to McNeese State. The Cowboys over Louisiana Monroe 65-43. Got a question for you. Are you the most expressive college basketball fan around? Enter to win Singular's most expressive fan promotion at Singular.com. You and a friend could win a trip to the 2002 NCAA Men's Final Four in Atlanta. Coming up, in between the Big Ten semifinal games, we will talk live with Lee Fowler, chair of the NCAA Men's Basketball Committee. But right now, Bonnie Bernstein joins us from the NCAA Hall of Champions in Indianapolis with a look at one of the most difficult conferences to figure out this year, the Big East. Bonnie.
Well, Greg, what a difference a conference tournament makes. Going into the Big East tournament, it seemed everyone had at least you know, a shot of getting an invite to the NCAAs. As of now, though, just 4 teams are virtual locks. Pitt and UConn, of course, the division champions who battle tonight for the conference crown, plus Miami and Notre Dame. Syracuse early on was a sure bet to make the tournament field, but after getting as high as number 7, it all went downhill for the Orange, culminating with a first-round loss to Villanova in the Big East tournament. Boston College remaining on that proverbial bubble courtesy of a win at Syracuse to close out the regular season. They finished 20-11, but just 5-5 in that all-important Final 10 category may not be enough. As for St. John's, Mike Jarvis's squad also ending up 20-11, paced by JC transfer Marcus Hatton's 20 points a game. That got him named to first team All-Big East. Now, the Johnnies do have a strong RPI. They swept BC this year and took down 20th-ranked Wake Forest back in December, but they closed out the year 6-4, bowing out of the Big East tourney in the quarters with a loss to Notre Dame. Now, ordinarily, that magic number 20 in the win column has been the ticket to the dance for Big East teams. In fact, not once has an eligible team ever been denied since the NCAA tournament field was expanded to 64 teams back in 1985. Greg, that obviously will change this year, with Syracuse likely being a no-go.
All right, Bonnie, thank you. And, you know, you and I were talking about, as we look at this UConn-Pitt game, Pittsburgh is a scary team, especially if they end up close to home in the tournament.
They really are a very, very good basketball team. They defend, they rebound, they get good, solid play off their bench. Their guards are terrific. 2 very evenly matched teams. The key for UConn is they've got to be able to contain the Panthers on the backboards. I give Pitt just the slightest of edges tonight.
Be careful, UConn is staying in our hotel. Thank you for watching Singular at the Half. Jim and Billy are set to bring you the second half right after this.
BGA Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, the wireless company that supports self-expression nationwide.
It has over 20 million customers nationwide. Works with nearly half the Fortune 1000 and provides the wireless network for BlackBerry and Palm. Bet you didn't know who's so big in business. Singular Wireless. What do you have to say?
What would you do with the Pontiac Grand Am?
Oh, yeah! We're going to drive as fast as we can to San Francisco.
We're doing big things with the Pontiac Grand Am. Big things, baby.
3-car park, next 3.
That's better. How do we get to 3-car? Vegas!
This is like living a dream, baby.
Yeah! Welcome to Vegas, baby. We on the strip, baby.
On the strip.
Oh, yeah!
Girls gone wild at the Bellagio.
Yes.
So what would you do with the Pontiac Grand Am?
How you doing?
Tell us at Pontiac.com.
That's a foul, player.
What? Get out of here, man.
That's the hack. My man got 3 signature moves. Hacking, hacking, and hacking. Whatever, though. If you quick, that fool ain't hard to shake. And, yo, it didn't even matter that there wasn't a ref, because I had these, the Nike Air Flight Elevators. You can't hack what you can't catch, right? You can only get them at Foot Locker.
Do you have any software experience at all?
No.
It's not really important. Welcome aboard. So it says here you haven't worked since 1982.
Yeah, so?
So I bet you're raring to go. You don't have any references at all.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Who's crazy? What's I'm crazy, you're crazy. Welcome aboard. Well, thanks for coming in. We'll let you know. I'm just kidding. Welcome aboard.
The new E-Trade. More of what you need to stay ahead in today's economy. E-Trade Financial.
Yo, he got next. All right, Webber.
Discover a sensation as real as the streets. Mountain Dew Code Red.
You win NCAA prizes with this. You got to drink Mountain Dew to do that. You drink it? Oh, I drink it all the time. See, we both drink it. You need to drink it, too.
Here we're going to see an out-of-bounds situation where Indiana goes inside out the funny way. We're going to see the ball going inbounds to Jeffries. Now here's Luke Recker in bad defensive position. Moyer will slide to the outside. The ball will come back inside and then is kicked out. A very unusual play, but something that will work. Inside, outside, Luke Recker says, where's my man? There's Moye, who was the star of this first half for IU.
Moye leads all scores in the first half with 11. The Hoosiers in front 33-30. Second half next on CBS.
Introducing the agile all-wheel drive Saturn Vue. At home in almost any environment.
When software quickly connects supply and demand, that's 1 degree of separation. That's business with .NET from Microsoft.
Catch every game of the first 3 rounds in their entirety with Mega March Madness as DirecTV supplements CBS's coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
See the only footage from inside Ground Zero, 9/11, CBS Sunday.
People ask me, how do I find time to do all my banking? How do I get on the road with such style? Where do I get friendly, personalized service? Where did I easily finance a home for my family? How did I start investing for my future? Find out how at Community Choice Credit Union, your community choice for the future.
Hi, I'm Ron Edwards, and this is my son, Scott. We own Plaza RV.
See the terrific selection at Plaza RV. Citation travel trailers and fifth wheels by Thor of America. Travel Master Class C mini motorhomes by Shasta. Hitchhiker fifth wheel trailers by New Way. Plus quality pre-owned products. Plaza RV, Central Iowa's leader for over 40 years.
Plaza RV, where customer satisfaction is #1. Just a stone's throw from exit 90 behind the Super Walmart in Ankeny.
The 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty continues, along with $3,000 rebates on all 2002 Caravans and Durangos. You won't see rebates like this much longer. An unheard-of $2,000 rebate now available for the 2002 Dodge Neons. The rugged Dodge Ram truck, a winner with a $1,500 rebate. West on Hickman, or visit us on the web.
This is Live Super Doppler Radar from KCCI Des Moines.
Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by the all-new Saturn Vue, Fidelity Investments, Kinko's Network, and by Bud Light.
Halftime here in Indianapolis. Both teams shooting percentages very similar here. Rebounding edge slightly to Indiana, 20-16. And well, Billy Packer, the winner here, gets to go on to that Big Ten championship and face the victor of the Illinois-Ohio State matchup later today. But again, for Iowa, this is a must-win game. Luke Recker yesterday in the second half stepped it up and played with that intensity of a senior who realizes the whole thing's coming down to this.
Well, he was 1 for 4 in the first half yesterday, only had 4 points, ended up with 28, so he's certainly capable of doing that. But I think he's going to have to get off to a much better start and get his head calmed down a little bit in this game. He took it personally in that first half, and remember that one elbow throwing incident that he had. He has got to calm down. He's got Fife on him, who was the co-defensive player of the year in the Big Ten this year, smiling, knowing what his assignment is. And this is really important for Recker, I think, to get some looks here in the second half. Remember in the first half, Jim, he hardly touched the ball for about 8 or 10 minutes.
Again, guarded by Fife, a former teammate.
And there's Fife, who took a flop.
Evans. Oh, he lost it going up. Sometimes he struggles with his hands.
Yeah, Evans does not have great hands, but he just is so active. If he had great hands, we'd be talking about a whole different element. but he is so strong. He's got great stamina, and he loves the battle.
Odell with the 3 fouls.
And boy, would Mike Davis not like to have him back in there with just 2 fouls on him for this second half. Nice shot.
Right over Sondeleiter. Odell on the board.
Boy, when you look at Odell and remember what he was like as a freshman and sophomore, he has really worked on getting his body in just incredible condition. All muscle now.
Recker.
And Recker is still out of this game mentally. And here are some of the things that are bothering. Now watch Fife right here. He feels a little contact, goes right down hard. Believe me, as a former football player, he couldn't be knocked down that hard if you were tackling with pads on. So they're really working on Recker's mind, and Steve Alford is going to have to get his star player into this game mentally.
Luke Recker, raised in Auburn, Indiana, star at DeKalb High School, where he was Mr. Indiana Basketball 97.
You know what's interesting, Jim? You come back to Indiana, and this Big Ten, of course, a hotbed of basketball throughout the conference, but this state, 22 kids that participated on the various teams from the Big Ten grew up in Indiana. So, you know, you talk about coming back home. For some, it's been a great experience. For Recker so far in this game, unlike the 2 previous games in the tournament, it's been somewhat of a nightmare.
Jeffrey's got a hand on it. Nice move, Pierce. Back home in Indiana sounds like a song, Billy.
Well, we've heard it before.
Yes, we have.
2 former Mr. Basketballs going head-to-head against each other. Coverdale and Recker there.
Coverdale gets free. Strong on the shot.
Push on the inside. Recker did really not go after that ball.
Sondeleiter called for that one.
Here we see Pierce on the inside. Really glided beautifully on his shot.
That's the 3rd on Sondeleiter, Billy.
Well, that's not as big a factor as Odell's 3rd foul, because I think Steve Alford has a better situation in regard to coming off the bench.
Recker with the rejection.
Sometimes playing good defense will get you back in the motion for offense. He has really been out of sync today.
Pierce. Charge.
There's Odell. You talk about taking a big chance. Trying to draw a charge on a play when you've got 3 fouls under you. But Pierce is really able to glide through the air. Here you see Pierce coming through again. Look at Odell getting over there. Pretty dangerous play for an important player.
With 3 fouls.
With 3 fouls.
He stepped in there and drew it, though. State still in front of Maryland now in the second half by 4. The Wolfpack.
Pierce did not make the contact with Fife, but he certainly altered that shot by getting underneath him. Neither team shot well in that first half. 36%, Jim. So you can see they're not getting... from Leslie to Pierce. I said he could glide. That was more than a glide. That was an explosion.
And that lob was absolutely where it had to be. Hawkeyes within 1.
Evans should stay on the ground with Odell and try to draw the charge. Don't worry about blocking the shot.
Hornsby on the misfire. Evans snaps it to Leslie.
Great footwork by Evans going and getting underneath the ball on the rebound.
For the lead, Leslie, too strong.
Important basket right there. It might have forced Mike Davis to call him out. Moyer coming back into the game. The guy that was really the spirit and the points in the first half for IU.
Sondeleiter, will he be called for his 4th? Yes. He thought it was all ball.
Well, not only did he block it, he kept possession. Very seldom do you see a foul, Jim, when a man blocks the shot and has possession of the ball. Now, here's that Leslie to Pierce. Perfect pass right over Jeffries, who probably missed that by 1/8 of an inch as he stretches and just can't get to it. Nice back screen play by Alford.
I think it grazed Jeffries' fingertip. And Moyer back, the first half star with 11. Sondeleiter out with 4.
But as I pointed out before, Sondeleiter is a guy that only averages 9.6 minutes a game. So he's out there to take up room, battle, and maybe commit some fouls.
Jeffries gets one of two. Odell loses the handle. Jeffries has not made a field goal today. 4 points all from the line.
Jim, he may be back, and he may be even 80%, but I'll tell you, he's not in the flow the way he was prior to that injury.
Coverdale reaches in for the theft. And another one on Iowa. This one against Evans. His second. And I was talking to Jeffries about that ankle yesterday, Billy, and he was talking to me about how when he wakes up in the morning, it's just throbbing, and he has to so gingerly get out of bed because it takes, he says, about 20 minutes to get himself situated where he can put enough weight on the ankle just to be able to move around a little.
Yeah, there is no question that he is not, I mean, although he looks okay, he's just not the same player with quickness on the inside, which is his big advantage, quickness.
Pretty nifty move that time, though, to set up Odell.
Nice two-man game, the two big men that have been so important on the interior for a team that relies on the great perimeter game.
Ron Thompson seeing his first action for Iowa, number 25. Pierce steps back, big three-pointer.
Boy, Pierce is having an excellent second half. 3 baskets of all different varieties.
7 points all in this half by Pierre Pierce. He has all of Iowa's second half points.
Didn't do much against Wisconsin. Only had 2 points. He was 1 for 6 in that game. Coming up big in his second half here.
Recker drew it. Yes. Called on Coverdale.
Well, Recker finally saying, you want to flop on me? I'll try a flop on you. Coverdale hardly made any contact at all. Recker realizing how the game's being officiated. Gave equal treatment. You'll see the bump right here. Recker goes flying down. Hey, even had a little facial gesture.
In 1935, Foxwood Farms started with 1 horse and a truck. The horse was a thoroughbred, the truck a Chevy Suburban. Today, they have a few more horses, but there's still only 1 truck, Chevy Suburban. With an available 8.1-liter Vortec engine, it's capable of towing up to 6 tons, making it the best Suburban yet. Chevy Suburban, like a rock.
There I am. I can't hear a thing. I'm trying to talk to somebody, and voila, it's a conversation bubble.
That's a winner. That's a surefire winner. When CZB Industries created the Convo Bub, they brought the Kinko's Network team in-house, giving them the technology and people to illuminate the idea and reach growing global markets. And when the phenomenon exploded, Kinko's grew with them. Introducing the Kinko's Network. If it could help a company like this succeed, imagine what it could do for yours.
I'd like to take a look at my investments.
Can Fidelity help me with some planning? Go through what I'm invested in, goals and so forth?
Of course. You know, now might be a good time to look at your entire portfolio.
Yeah? You can help?
Well, certainly. With Fidelity Portfolio Review, we can help you draw a complete picture.
Really?
Sure. Fidelity and non-Fidelity accounts, IRAs, 401k, stocks, mutual funds, even the effects of taxes.
How do we start?
We'll meet in person or over the phone.
That's great. Let's get rolling.
For a free review of your portfolio, call 1-800-FIDELITY.
So, what exactly are we up against?
These guys are bad.
Bad as in good?
No, bad as in evil. They lie. They cheat. They don't play by the rules.
What do we do?
2 words. Defense.
Hey, sports fans. For all of your news, scores, expert analysis, and fantasy advice, go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Coming up next, championship weekend presented by Burger King continues with the second game of the Big Ten semifinals. Illinois and Ohio State. Illinois on a 9-game win streak. For more, go to cbs.sportsline.com. America Online, keyword is CBS Sportsline.
Brody Boyd back into the ball game now. He came in and exploded for Iowa. Got them actually back into it in the first half with some excellent outside shooting. Number 1, or co-defended player of the year, guarding him Fife right now, has to really be aware why Boyd's in the game.
Thompson off the bench, almost got it to drop, dipped down and out, and a reach in on Pierce. Again, Iowa had a shot to take the lead here in the second half.
really have to question that shot, Jim. You have Boyd coming into the game for a purpose. So you want to get the ball in the hands of the guys that matter. Out on the floor, the last guy you want taking that shot is the man that took it, Thompson.
And Thompson at the other end whistled for a body check.
Into the ball game, takes a bad shot, makes an unnecessary foul. Steve Alford looks down that bench and says, your time may be short. And Thompson is guarding Odell. Look for a little inside-outside game, getting Odell the ball down in low here.
Iowa already committing 16 fouls only 5 minutes into the second half. Moye doubled up for a moment. To the corner, fight.
Oh, there's number 4. And give Thompson some credit with an excellent block out on Odell, who was not patient in getting down inside Jim and making himself a target, being guarded by a smaller defender. He stayed on the perimeter that entire half-court sequence, and that really hurt Indiana.
Jeff Newton in for Odell at the 14:28 mark. They're also going to bring in Donald Perry.
Jim, this game looks like it's going to get kind of like that game last year, which was for the championship, going right down to the wire.
63-61, Iowa championship. Kirk Haston had a shot at the end of the game, partially blocked.
He really did, and had a brilliant ball game there. And here you have a situation, Indiana, who has handled Iowa relatively easy in 2 wins this year.
Yeah, 11 and 28. Both of those games, they went out to big first-half leads. Not today. Evans again.
There goes for the lead. There are those hands, Jim. Evans wants that ball back.
Yeah, he really called for it here. Stymied for a moment. Coverdale almost took it away. Will Recker start to take over at this point like he did yesterday? And a hold on Coverdale.
Well, one of the things that I think that Recker should recognize today, they're trying to give him a lot of body. What he did there, put the ball on the floor. And remember when he did it in the first half as well? I think he should put the ball on the floor and try to drive to get off his medium-range jump shot. He hasn't done that at all today. You know, the flyer he won the game with yesterday, that's the shot that he should be trying today. They're not giving him his jump shot. Uh-oh, there's the hands again.
Oh, over to Thompson for the save. Step back 3. Recker still having knocked down only 1 shot today, a first-half 3. Thompson with the foul.
Recker is got to realize what Indiana is doing to him today. And for a man as experienced, really a 5th-year senior, he's not doing it.
Mississippi State under a minute to play, 1 in front of LSU, and a very chopped-up bracket there at the SEC.
Florida out, Kentucky out, Georgia out. It's been amazing what's going on in the SEC.
They're into penalty now with 13:47 still remaining. 1-1 for Jeffers.
But, Jim, that's the league that's on just about every statistical category that you ever see in every polling, the #1 rated league in regard to difficulty in the country. So I think a lot of those teams, unlike in Iowa, realize they're going to get a bid.
Again, Indiana's NCAA tournament lock, but Iowa at 18 and 14 would have to win today and tomorrow to get into the NCAAs. Another possession for the lead. Thompson, way short this time.
2 shots by Thompson. They're hurting the possessions when Iowa has a chance to take this lead.
But he makes the steal at the other end.
Take it to the basket. Take it to the basket.
Challenging Moye and put it up with the left hand.
That is what Recker needs to do. It looks like he was a little hesitant when he first caught that ball.
But then he took off, and Iowa leads by 1, 39-38.
Recker has a slight smile on his face as he looks at Coverdale.
A 9-3 run for the Hawkeyes. Come back from 5 down in this half.
Is it possible that Iowa could make another 4-game run?
Perry, way too far. 6 straight Big Ten tournament wins for Iowa going back to last year.
You know, I would say But if somebody asked the chances of that happening in back-to-back years in a league as competitive as the Big Ten for a team to be able to win 4 games on a neutral floor 4 days in a row, back-to-back years, impossible. But right now, they're on track.
This year is a number 9 seed out of an 11-team conference. Worley. Oh, he lost.
Second time today that an Iowa player has slipped. Remember, it happened to Leslie right at the end of the first half. There are some funny decisions so far by Iowa players who have just come into the ball games to feel like they're the guys that have to be the offense. Thompson did it before. Now Henderson.
Boyd did it in the first half, but he got it to work out just fine. Newton with the loose change.
Good cut by Newton to the basket.
But Brody Boyd came off that bench the first half and hit 3 straight threes.
Yeah, but he's a shooter, Jim. He's a guy you're bringing into the game specifically for that purpose. Good dish. Newton right in Evans' face. Good block.
Evans scoreless in the second half. Perry lost control. Indiana ball.
And now on the floor, Indiana 40 and Iowa 39.
It's been a tight one all the way. No lead bigger than 6. 40-39 Indiana at the break.
After the all-new Chevy Trailblazer, everything else just seems kind of weak. The 270 horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
Watch Monday's highest-rated show, Everybody Loves Raymond, only on CBS.
Folks, for the used car buyer, Stivers Lincoln Mercury has just made a special purchase of almost new 01 model Dodge Intrepids, Ford Tauruses, and Mercury Sables. Consider 01 Ford Taurus at $11,988, or 01 Dodge Intrepids at $12,988. And all models have the balance of the new car factory warranty. As always, we're downtown on Ingersoll and on the Myrtle Hay Auto Mile, where Price sells new and used cars.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and if you're thinking about building a new home, I'd encourage you to call my dad at New Homes by Brill.
One of the things that really attracted us to New Homes by Brill was the fact that Don's actively involved every day all the way to the completion of the home.
Anytime that we had a problem, I felt like I could just pick up the phone and the problem would get resolved.
Hi, I'm Don Brill, and before I build your home, I'd like to earn your trust.
Take a good long look at Carl Chevrolet, because things are about to change.
And they have changed. Come on, I'll show you. We'll have a bigger showroom and a bigger selection. Our used car area is bigger too. New war space, parts area, and this is where you'll find the best commercial and fleet service in the area. We still have a ways to go, but don't let our construction keep you away. For great selection and great savings and great people to work with, come to Carl Chevrolet at the Rock.
This is Live Super Doppler Radar from KCCI Des Moines.
On this selection weekend tonight, our coverage continues with the Pac-10 Tournament Championship game, USC and Arizona. Coming your way tonight on CBS, 6 o'clock Eastern Time.
Jim, a great league this year, and certainly a league that's going to be well represented in this year's NCAA tournament. You can remember that Southern Cal team that we had last year against Duke in the Eastern Regional Final. Most of those guys returned to a team that really was solid.
I don't think they've been given their due all season long. It'll be a very tough out in the tournament, USC. One of my, well, can you call them a sleeper team? They could be as high as, say, a 3 or 4 seed if they win tonight. But that conference with probably 6 coming into the tournament, but not of 1 or a 2 seed.
Here's Recker again, catching the ball and passing. I think Recker ought to put the ball on the floor and drive on Coverdale. That's why he's not getting shots off today. He's trying to post up. Coverdale doing a good job with position defense.
7 on the shot clock. Evans looking for help.
Going where he wants to, right to the basket. Left hand.
Coverdale in there battling. Recker gets it back.
Oh, my God.
Falling to the floor.
Recker. What a touch. There's the difference between hands and hands. Jim, what's interesting, these teams are shooting 36 and 37% respectively. When Indiana won the national championship back in '53, that's what they shot on the year, 36.5%. Can you imagine that, winning a national championship? Their opponents shot 29% against them. Here's Recker on the touch shot. Beautiful touch.
Recker now with 7 points.
You know, people talk about how the game has changed. It wasn't until 1958 that an IU team, you think of Indiana being a great shooting team, a bunch of great shooters. It wasn't until 1958 that Indiana as a team ever shot over 40% on the year. So people will always say basketball was better back when. Guys were more fundamentally sound. They ought to take a look at some of those stats.
Mississippi State wins that game against LSU, 57-51. Cincinnati wins Conference USA. And Texas Tech is getting throttled by Kansas today.
Well, there's nothing you have to apologize by getting throttled by Kansas. Kansas is the best team in the country, and they've proven it now for a couple of months.
Backing in on Jeffries. Evans could have put it right back up and probably finished it off.
And should have, Jim. You're exactly right. Good observation there, because all he had to do is just have a wide open layup had he put it right to the basket.
With the conclusion of this game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund, a tradition for over a quarter century. Evans back to the line for 2.
Jim, you know, it's kind of amazing. Recker, a guy that you know is going to get to the foul line because he is that kind of an offensive scorer, coming into this game had taken 162 less foul shots than the man on that foul line. Is that unbelievable how often he's able to get there?
Well, this is his 10th attempt today.
He is the Big Ten tournament's all-time career rebounding.
Whoa, look at this.
That's a pretty good takedown. Worley with a tackle. This is kind of like what Fife did earlier this year.
Stopped at the 1.
Yeah. Remember that on
second and goal
on Archibald in the Indiana-Illinois game.
Jeffries at the line at the other end. It'll be a 1-and-1. Bloomington, Indiana product, just a sophomore. Played in high school with Quest Duaney from Syracuse.
This game is just staying right along. Neither team able to get any momentum. Moyer gave it to Indiana in the first half. Pierce tried to give his team that momentum in the second. But so far, nobody able to get control of this game.
Indiana ball. Evans let it go out. He thought it had been touched by the Hoosiers.
I think Steve Alford has to come back with Recker. Recker is a guy that plays 32 minutes a game. He's been on that bench a lot, but they just don't have enough offensive firepower with the team that's on the floor.
42-42, 9.5 remaining.
Jeffries doing a good job getting position in the low post.
Boyer connects on a 3.
He has really had an outstanding game, Jim, both offensively and defensively. Normally guarding a bigger man as he is now with Henderson, but really putting on a show here as far as competitive balance.
14 off the bench. And Recker is about to check in on the next whistle.
Big solid screen.
Leslie, wraparound pass. There's Moyer. Picked up by Moyer. Up ahead, Jeffries. Waiting. Gets his first field goal of the game.
There was a difference between the lack of patience we saw by other people in the low post.
And that Indiana lead is back to 5. Timeout, Iowa. 47-42, Hoosiers.
blind guy? Well, what are you going to do for an encore there?
I think I may kick some puppies.
Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Did you steal that guy's dog, too? Is that whose dog that is? Hey, you want to switch? Sure.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that switches from an SUV to a pickup.
Good idea.
Chevy Avalanche, Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year. Avalanche, like a rock.
All the pickles, all the lettuce. Special orders now, you know they don't upset us.
I gotta get a Whopper.
You got it.
With another terror attack, a distinct possibility. Why aren't we more careful about who we let into the country and who we don't? 60 Minutes, Sunday.
9/11 is an astonishing, riveting, remarkable piece of filmmaking. What you'll see is humanity at its best. 9/11, CBS Sunday.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Chevy Impala, Miller Lite, Nivea for Men, and by Sprint PCS.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer back here at the Big Ten tournament. Let's look at some of the major conferences and the number of bids. This was last year, Billy. Big Ten this year looks like 5, unless you want to give me Minnesota as 6, or if Iowa wins the next 2 games would be 6.
Well, I think those are 2 that have, and I don't know if Iowa is going to win this title or not, but I think Minnesota has a decent shot to be that 6th team.
It's 17 and 12. But with a loss last night to Illinois for the 2nd time in a week. Pierce too strong, tips it out. Evans. Going back to the line.
Offensive. Oh, hold on a minute. Wow, that is some call there because Evans has 2 hands on the ball trying to release the shot.
His 3rd.
I'd have to see this one again and then again. How is that an offensive foul? Very bad call. Just because he's strong doesn't mean he gets an opportunity to be treated as an equal.
Wow, Jeffries, what a tough shot. He had not made a shot from the field in the first 31 minutes of this game, and now he's got 2 in the last minute.
Moyer and Pierce, tough matchup out there.
Boyd in the lane.
Cut underneath. Boyd, who's known to be an outside shooter, got a good rub off on a solid screen there to get that shot off.
Billy here again on selection weekend. So look back at that Minnesota case as far as an NCAA tournament berth. Dan Monson doing remarkable things from, what, just 3 years after the biggest academic fraud case in NCAA history, rebuilding the program. But they had, I believe, had they won against Illinois last Sunday, we were there, they would have been in.
Well, Jim, of all the games that I've ever done in regard to a late season contest, and we said this during that game, I don't think, in a great hand for Moyer coming out, who really did the battling job, I don't think I've ever seen a game that had so much riding on it for 2 teams. Minnesota, as you said, had they won that game, and certainly could have, almost would have assured themselves of an at-large bid. And for Illinois to be able to keep it going the way they have and end up being tied for the Big Ten championship.
Indiana trying to get to the Big Ten tournament championship.
Sometimes you feel like being dependable. Sometimes you just want to go for a drive.
Okay, we'll give you guys 10 seconds. You know, it'd be a lot more fun if they had a better car.
Chevy Impala.
You wanted to see me?
Did you cook my steak?
Yeah.
You are
Yum!
For a great steak,
Would you sign my belly?
head to Applebee's Steak Stampede. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Now there's a better way to soothe your skin after shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has advanced moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and improve your skin. Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
What happened?
I thought he said a potato was coming.
Tornado? Why would I say a potato was coming?
Jack, were you on a cell phone?
Yeah.
It's the cellular static. Here, Sprint PCS built the largest all-digital, all-PCS nationwide network, so you won't have any of these misunderstandings.
Bullet. Come here.
Looks like things are clearing up already.
4,000 minutes for $39.99 from Sprint PCS.
Excuse me, waitress. Bud Light, please. Can I, oh, there you are. Oh, hey, wait. Can I have a Bud Light, please? Yeah. Hi. Can I?
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Hey, I'll be right down. Oh, wait.
Make it a Bud Light.
Indiana with a plus 14 and points off turnovers, leading by 6, Billy.
Well, Jim, you pointed something out. Watch Jeffrey's eyes right here. He's going to look at the defender, and he's got a man on him, and he said, oh, you want to go this way? Well, watch me. Come right in here for the shot. Recognition of what the defense is doing and what they give you take. And that was the case for Jeffries there.
Hoosiers up 6 and with possession.
Moye got that rest. Coach Davis saying, I want him down the stretch in this game. He has been the key for Indiana all day. Nice ball fake. Beautiful.
Jeffries again. His third basket here in the last minute and a half on the clock.
You know, the other thing you want to give Jeffries a lot of credit for, Jim, is his stamina. If you've got the bad leg, as he's had for almost a month, it's hard to stay in as good a condition. He's been on that floor a long time and really battling, showing real good competitive spirit.
Sonderleiter back on the floor for Iowa with 4 fouls. Indiana has its largest lead of the day, 8-point lead.
Boy, Newton did a great job on that switch. Recker was ready to turn the quarter off the dribble.
Pierce. Iowa ball.
Official right on the play, feeling that the ball did not touch an Iowa player on that throwback. You see it right here. Fife goes up. The ball touches Fife. Comes back in.
Only 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, they're questioning now, did the ball ever in any way hit the rim?
Poor Mike.
Mike gets sent out.
Back.
Yeah, he went back only to the stripe of the coach's box and turned around immediately. You summoned me off the court. We'll see it go up. Let's see if this ball ever touches the rim at all. Nope, no, never did. Never did. So there are 2 seconds left. How about a rub-off? Here's where you'd like to put Boyd in the game. Get a rub-off for a long 3.
Ryan Hogan will inbound.
Hogan, I would think there's no time for Hogan to get the ball back to take a jump shot. I think this is a good time for Steve Alford to put his best 3-point shooters in there, rub them off for a quick catch and a 3, but Boyd is on the bench. Or the lob to Evans. Coverdale recognized that and goes to double team on Evans.
Oh, a foul called on Perry.
Wow, what a call.
Again, with just a second on the shot clock.
The last thing you want to do if you're Indiana is foul in that situation.
And that's the 7th team foul. That'll send Pierce to the line 1-1.
Well, Pierce did the right thing, Jim. He broke right to the ball. He had a kind of a lane there on the right on the end line, and the reason that he did that is Coverdale thought that they might be running the lob pass to Evans, so he doubled up on him, which gave no help inside.
One more for Pierce. Iowa playing in the city of Indianapolis here at the Big Ten tournament for the first time, Billy, since 1980 playing in this city.
Well,
you were there.
Yes.
The big On Final Four that was at Market Square Arena.
Unfortunately, the guy that wasn't here was Ronnie Lester for Lute Olson.
They had the knee injury.
He had the knee injuries, and Iowa lost both games in the Final Four. The second one to their Big Ten rival, Purdue. Joe Barry Carroll having a great final game of his career.
Yep, back in the old third-place game days. And Purdue was their opponent when they showed up back in Indianapolis 22 years later when they played on Thursday night and knocked out Purdue in the first round. Perry at the other end and one.
I tell you what, Mike Davis is really getting production off his bench today. Perry came in there. Moyer in the first half. And he has sitting on that bench right now Odell, who is not in any further foul trouble being over there. He's got Hornsby over there. And Moyer, who's been the star today, to be able to come back in the last 6 minutes and 37 seconds.
Sondeleiter is sent back to the bench with his 5th foul.
And we notice that the guy that might be coming in right now to try to take his place a little bit with the stitches in his mouth won't be able to. So it's going to be Henderson. Reiner in the first half. Remember that altercation underneath the basket.
CBS Sportsline. Sorry, Billy. CBS Sportsline stat of the game right here. Bench points. Indiana led by A.J. Moyer with 14. Get complete game stats at cbs.sportsline.com. America Online users enter the keyword CBS Sportsline. And there he is. Reiner with the stitches in the lip. 5 of them. First half. Shot to the face. And
big miss there. Opportunity to really extend this lead and get it up to double digits.
Think of yesterday, and Iowa's upset of Wisconsin. They only led until the final, well, took the lead. Of course, at the final seconds, but they led for only 1 minute and 4 seconds total in yesterday's game.
That was the second unfortunate foul that Perry has committed. Remember the one with 2 seconds on the shot clock and then a quick foul on the outside. If you're Indiana, you certainly want Iowa to have to work for all points the rest of this game.
1-and-1 for Pierce.
Good follow through by Pierce. He stayed with that foul shot even after the ball was rolling around on the rim.
Moyer, who has led the way in many ways for Indiana today. Back in.
You heard the officials saying, don't be silly now. Talking about guys trying to fight for position.
Cuts it to 6.
Big foul there, Jim. Perry misses one down on one end and then commits one on the other.
Timeout called. A save by Pierce and a timeout.
Boy, brilliant play by Pierce. He realized when he was diving for that ball, he wasn't going to be able to keep possession while on the floor, so he called the timeout just as he grabbed it.
He'd seen it bounce off the leg of his teammate Evans, and he makes the save and the timeout. Let's take a look now at our Nextel tournament favorite, Bob Knight and the Indiana Hoosiers. Facing Syracuse, the 87 title game. Hoosier guard Steve Alford scored a game-high 23, including 7 threes. The Keith Smart's field goal with 1 second remaining gave the Hoosiers a 74-73 championship victory.
Watch this, a timeout call just as he grabs possession of the ball. A very smart play. And there was that ball. It actually, I didn't realize this, but it went off Jeffrey's foot there. But that was a very smart play by Pierce. And, Jim, we saw that Bob Knight right there. 2 interesting phone calls this year to Bob Knight. One by Mike Krzyzewski, asking his former mentor if he would be the man that would be involved with his induction to the Hall of Fame. And
present him, and he did.
Present him, which he did. And then the phone call by Steve Alford. Struggling throughout the course of the year. There has been some people talking about the fact that he and his former coach did not get along so well. But Alford, in trouble that he felt in his coaching career, said there's only one man I wanted to call, and that was Bob Knight. So you have 2 very unusual phone calls, both to one man, Bob Knight, the coach.
Hogan had a jumper try. Evans had it on the inside. Recker this time tried to call a timeout.
He didn't get the time. The official could not see what Recker wanted to do there. Recker down. He hurt his elbow. Probably lost a little. Now, what Recker has to do, he may have some cut skin there. Is there any blood on his arm whatsoever? The official's looking at it. Yep, I think he's going to take another look at it. I think Recker has a little bit of blood coming from that elbow.
Iowa has not hit a field goal in 5 minutes on the game clock. Hoosiers lead by 6. Jeffries got the position, missed it short, and Evans clears his 11th rebound. Pierce driving, puts it up, front of the rim. Newton. Block on Recker.
Absolutely good call. Recker, he has some skin off of that elbow, but there doesn't seem to be any blood coming out. You can see him holding that elbow when he dove for the ball. It's like he's going to sit down.
Sunday on CBS, a story of bravery and survival. The only footage from inside Ground Zero. Robert De Niro hosts 9/11 Sunday on CBS, presented by Nextel and with limited interruptions. Tomorrow night on CBS. Coverdale with 2, double bonus. Brody coming back in. Brody Boyd for Hogan.
It's Indiana, a good free throw shooting team. Almost 71% on the year. Michigan State, the team that led the Big Ten in free throw shooting this year. But when you look statistically down that line, the Michigan State team found themselves in good positions in a lot of categories, including once again leading the league in rebounding.
Hawkeyes need to hit. They've misfired their last 7.
Have they thought about Evans inside at all? He's out setting screens.
Recker 3. Pure stroke that time. He has 10 on the game.
I guess the elbow didn't hurt that bad after all.
Breaks a 5:42 stretch without a field goal. Recker with the 3, bringing him back within 5. Going the other way, a goal against Indiana inside.
Newton on a screen trying to pick Recker off, and Coverdale moving without the ball. I have to think that we're going to see Odell back in his game quickly, Jim. They really need his experience on the floor right now.
Second on Newton. There's Odell. It'll be a 1-and-1. That's the 19th foul, so it's Recker at the line, who started his first 2 years at Indiana. 954 career points.
Record was 9 for 10 in that game against Purdue, which was a new record for Big Ten tournament. It was broken by Dusty Reichert the same afternoon. He was 11 for 12 against Penn State, so he held the record for at least a couple hours.
Dusty Reichert of Minnesota, senior. Storybook career he's had from really not being wanted by anyone out of high school north of Minnesota, Minneapolis, that is. So we're down to 3. 55-52 Indiana. 4:30 remaining. Recker starting to warm up here. He's got 9 in the second half, 12 for the game.
Doing a good job getting out on Coverdale, too, defensively.
Jeffries turnaround. Loose ball, big scramble here.
Arrow pointing back to Indiana, so it's going to be a jump situation. Indiana ball. There was a case with a little better hands. Evans gets that one and picks it clean. Just went off his hands. Indiana possession. You wonder when Mike Davis is going to go back to that bench with Odell. Got Hornsby sitting on that bench right now. Moyer, who's had the good game, probably deserves to be sitting out and being out there down the stretch as well as he's played. 5 on the arm.
No call. Evans, good hands that time.
You notice, Jim, good hands because you said that in the plural.
Oh, they can't believe it at Iowa. Recker raising his hands into the air. It's going to be called on Duez Henderson, the foul, his second. And again, double bonus.
Jim, the point that I was making there is that you said hands.
Right.
Whenever Evans is in a position to grab a rebound with 2 hands, it's all his. He is not the kind of guy, because of the fact that he doesn't have great hands, to be able to get one-handed rebounds. Now watch this right here. Boom. 2 hands, he pulls it on in.
Newton with one more.
Boy, Indiana with a good free throw shooting team, not able to hit.
Evans appealing to the Iowa fans. He is waving in a direction. Let's pump it up.
IU shooting 66% of the day, 12 for 18.
1 out of 2 by Newton. 56-52 Indiana at the 4-minute mark.
Time to get that ball down inside to Evans.
Backing in on the Evans. Gives it up. Henderson converts.
There it was, down inside to Evans. They tried to double down on him that allowed Henderson to be wide open. Excellent move by Iowa.
8-point Indiana lead has been dropped to 2, 56-54.
Boy, and when Indiana built that lead, Jim, you felt that they really had the mo on their side. All of a sudden, they've gotten cold.
Also had a possession up 8. Failed to score. Moye, charge.
Great play by Evans. He saw it coming. Moye had no place to go. Smart play by Evans. He's not sure the official called it that way.
Evans with the assist at one end.
And look at where Steve Alford is. He's almost at half court, shaking his hand, saying, smart play.
Hawkeyes, they don't give up in this Big Ten tournament.
Look, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Roundup knocks out weeds in 24 hours. The leading imitator doesn't. Roundup knocks out weeds in 24 hours.
So, Dan, do we have everything we need for this meeting?
It's all right here, sir.
Is your data backup as reliable as it should be?
Don't worry, sir. He told me everything.
Ours is. Bright Store Storage Software from Computer Associates.
So you sure this is okay? What if someone calls?
What if someone calls?
Sometimes you feel like being dependable. Sometimes you just want to go for a drive. Chevy Impala.
Jerky.
Oh, yes! Yes!
Want happy employees? Help secure their financial futures. At the Principal Financial Group, that's what we do. The Principal is the 401k leader, financial solutions for you and growing businesses. The Principal Financial Group, we understand what you're working for.
Hey, sports fans. For all of your news, scores, expert analysis, and fantasy advice, go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Indiana with a stable of 4 timeouts. The arrow belongs to Iowa. Hawkeyes mounting another comeback, as they did yesterday, knocking out the 1 seed Wisconsin. Odell has been on the bench for over 11 minutes now on the game clock.
And, Jim, sometimes I think certain players play well against certain teams. Kyle Hornsby this year, as I said, from a 3 standpoint, made 8 out of 10 in the 2 games played during the regular season, and he's over there on that bench as well.
2 to tie, 3 for the lead. 3:10 remaining. It's Iowa seniors stepping up in the closing minutes. Evans, Henderson, and Recker.
2-man game inside. Recker and Evans trying to screen for each other. Obviously, Steve Alford said, let's go inside.
Henderson battles for the rebound, and it's called on Indiana's Moye.
Good aggressive rebounding inside, and that's why I'm waiting for Odell to come into this ball game.
The Kansas lead now is 40 over Texas Tech. A tournament team, I might add, and remarkable one-season turnaround there.
And what we're having right now is that Iowa's strength inside has just been able to battle that ball away from Indiana.
That was the 10th team foul, so 2 the rest of the way on each end, and Duez Henderson can tie it with this one right here.
77% free throw shooter. Nice form.
Matching 56s. Iowa trying to...
Isn't this where we were last year, Jim?
It came down to a last shot. Blocked, preserving an Iowa victory. Indiana had a lead of 55-47.
Huge block by Boyd, who was overmatched by Newton down inside, just was able to get his hands on the ball.
That Indiana lead was at 55-47.
With ball, right?
With the ball, and they've gone now without a field goal for 4 minutes. 9-1 run by the Hawkeyes to tie it.
Really looking to get the ball inside to Jeffries, but Evans, who is playing so hard out there, just not letting him have any room. Comes the solid screen.
5 on the shot clock. Newton driving to the basket. Got it away with 1 on the shot clock.
All right, Pierce gave up. He made the block and then just let Newton recoil again. Tight ball game. Wow, inside.
It's going to be on Newton. It'll send Evans to the line for 2. And again, he's not a great free throw shooter.
So what Recker was trying to do is to convince the official that the foul was committed where Recker would be going to the foul line. The official waved it off and said, no, no, Evans going to the line. A lot of difference right there in terms of Recker being an 87% free throw shooter and Evans being a 62% free throw shooter.
6 out of 10 today.
You notice the difference between the way Henderson followed through and stayed with the shot. Evans dropping his hand immediately upon release. Very difficult to have the touch if you don't stay with it. A lot better on that one.
Indiana by 1, 58-57, 2 minutes. Oh. Boy, Recker fights through a 5-pick. Body jarring.
Nice job by Henderson coming out on the hedge.
But he's called for it. It will send Coverdale to the line for 2.
Watch that screen. There was nobody talking from Iowa, and Recker really took a shot.
Four for 4 today at the line. Tom Coverdale from Noblesville, Indiana. He suffered a back injury after yesterday's game. Fought through it. Gritty 2 for 2 right there.
Well, he's had 2 big games in regular seasons against Iowa. Really important now for Iowa to keep going down inside. That 2-man game, Recker and Evans. Puts a lot of pressure on Jeffries, who tries to help out. This means Henderson can shake loose.
To the corner. Nice fake. Henderson steps into the 2. Way too long. Put back Pierce. Tipped around. Evans secures it this time. Recker wanted it in the corner.
What Mike Davis said is that a double dribble. He felt that Evans put the ball down, picked it up, and then started driving again. Timeout was called.
Boy, Steve Alford is furious. Timeout on the floor with 1:20 remaining. Hoosiers by 3.
The closer you get, the more extreme it gets. The most extreme V-twins on the planet. VTX from Honda.
In last year's Big Ten championship final, down 2, less than 10 seconds to play. Indiana's Kurt Haston attempting a 3. Would have been a winning 3, but Reggie Evans got a hand on it, blocked it. Iowa won the Big Ten championship 63-61. Watch Steve Alford here, Billy, after that timeout.
He pops the top of that clipboard. The pencil came flying out of there. And I think he was as upset with his team as he was any call by the official there.
Again,
Recker's got Jeffries on. He ought to get the ball right back to Recker and let him make a move off the dribble. Instead, it takes too long, and they get the switch. Here it is.
1 minute. Iowa down 3. 10 on the shot clock. Recker can tie it.
Oh, he does.
We're tied at 60.
Mr. Basketball, Indiana, nothing but net. Boy, was that on the bullseye mark, wasn't it, Jim?
Home again in Indiana. 60-60, playing for their tournament lives.
Evans
Hawkeyes.
doesn't want Jeffries to touch that ball. He's really chesting him. Differential about 20 seconds out here right now, so Iowa will get the ball back.
6 on the shot clock. Jeffries with Evans on him. Long jumper. Off the mark. Tipped up Newton. Front of the rim. Newton again. And a struggle for it. No whistle. Back to Jeffries. Back again. Recker calls time.
Oh, what a play!
Iowa ball. Recker preserves it for the Hawkeyes.
And there's 13 seconds to go. The Hawkeyes will have a ball to be able to go the length of the floor. How many times could Indiana touch that ball, Jim, and not be able to get anything to go?
Timeout in midair. And the Hawkeyes have a chance to move to the championship game on the next possession.
On March 22nd, their fraternity will force them to join a sorority.
Yeah, very funny.
Hi. Oh, my God. Why? Coming through. Oh. 3 times later. I love when you braid my hair.
Tell us about yourself.
I'm addicted to porn. Pillow fight.
Sorority Boys, rated R. Please be a size 8.
Oh, yeah!
Starts March 22nd.
All around the world, Siemens is helping people work together, even when they're not together. From next-generation internet to mobile business solutions, we're giving people the freedom to communicate better.
This was yesterday. Iowa and Wisconsin tied at 56. And it was Luke Recker hitting the winner with less than 2 seconds to play. Is there any doubt now they're going to that same basket today? Who will be the go-to guy for the Hawkeyes here, fighting for their tournament life?
Knowing that is probably what Iowa wants to do, let's see who the matchup is with Recker. Is it going to be Fife, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year? And that's who it's going to be. So Pierce is going to be the one responsible for bringing the ball up the floor. Boyd goes down to help out.
And Indiana showing full pick-up pressure here.
Key just to get the ball in bounds.
Pierce bobbled for a moment. 7 seconds to go. Winning shot for the championship game. He better go to the hole. Looking for Recker. Recker with 1 second gets it away.
They're saying there's some time left, possibly.
It's over.
The officials are saying there may be some time. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Alford brings his team back. Recker is celebrating. They have no idea. They will check the replay.
They want to see if the basket actually counted, Jim, as referees have to do on last-second shot. This is unbelievable. 2 days in a row, the man from Indiana
gets away from the man with the hobbled ankle. He got it away.
No question about that.
He got it away with about 1/10 of a second to play.
It is a good basket. It counts if it goes, and it goes.
So the Luke Recker Odyssey of journey that's almost even hard to condense to just a 2 or 3 minute soundbite. He comes back to his home state and beats Indiana at the buzzer, hitting a winning shot at the end for the 2nd straight game.
Jim, as you watch this, it's a perfect example for the referees to take a look at. And from this replay, it's easy to see 7, 6, 5, 4, 3/10 of a second, and it's gone.
It's interesting. Look at the 2 teams just waiting for the verdict. And here it comes.
Yes, and Steve Alford gets the signal, not the official.
Mike Davis comes all the way down to give Luke Recker a hug.
We'll see it right here. Watch that clock. Ball's gone. Clock is not yet at 0.
Luke Recker with 10 of Iowa's final 15. They will play tomorrow for the automatic into the NCAA tournament. It's the only way they're going to get there.
Steve Alford, another Mr. Basketball, saying thank you very much. That's who I wanted to take the shot.
He knows all about senior heroics. He led Indiana to the national championship as a senior 15 years ago. Just an incredible personal battle here for Luke Recker to come back to Indiana. Booed every time he touched the ball here today and hits the winning shot for the second straight game in this tournament. Iowa is in the Big Ten championship game. They have won 7 straight Big Ten tournament games. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Luke Recker for Iowa, A.J. Moye for Indiana. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It was 63-61 Iowa last year in the Big Ten final. It's 62-60 this time. Can't get a better finish than this. Luke Recker and Iowa are racing to the Big Ten championship game. Their tournament hopes are still alive.